Xylitol sweeteners have been promoted as being one of the best new sweeteners on the market. Xylitol is deadly to dogs. If you're making muffins and using xylitol to sweeten them, one muffin can kill a large dog. Dogs are very, very sensitive to xylitol, so do not use it around your pets. I got my teeth cleaned the other day, and the hygienist was telling me how wonderful xylitol was, and I explained to her some of the different problems, and to her credit, she went back and amended her handouts on xylitol to let you know that they're dangerous to pets. The other thing that is very, very poisonous to dogs, and unfortunately there's some nurseries around that sell it, as well as some of the box stores, but it's this material that is sold as cocoa mulch. This is actually made from cocoa beans, the same thing they make chocolate from. Sadly, there is a lot of theobromine left behind in it. It smells good, and they will promote it as a good smelling mulch, but again, it's very attractive to dogs. The dogs will love to eat it, and it doesn't take very much to kill a dog. So please stay away from cocoa mulches. If you're walking your puppy dogs and you smell this around somebody's flower beds, keep your dogs away from it, because it can be devastating.
Are there any garden uses to xylitol? I mean, is there any reason you would use it outside of your kitchen?
I don't know of any, but an awful lot of people feed their animals table scraps,
right, but
intentionally or unintentionally. But no, I don't know of any uses. It's not like aspartame that you can kill ants with. But it's one of the best ant killers in the world. In fact, I don't do many talks in the spring, but I agreed to talk to the Sonterra Women's Club yesterday, and I got their attention starting out. I was talking about organics and some of the dangers of chemicals and chemical gardening, and so I had the little sugar bowl that was on there that had all the different packets. I was able to get up and say, it's wonderful to come and talk to you about organics, because so few places have I ever been when they serve you lunch with ant poison on the table. And everybody looks a little bit horrified. But that blue stuff, aspartame, is one of the best ant killers in the entire world. And oh, by the way, in your brain, it breaks down to formaldehyde, also known as embalming fluid, not something you want to have a lot of, and methanol, wood alcohol, which is not good for you at all. My old organic chemistry professor, we used to talk about ethanol, which is what you get from grain or grapes or things like that in a consumable form, and methanol, which is wood alcohol, which is very poisonous. He used to define the two. He called ethanol the alcohol of temporary blindness and methanol the alcohol of permanent blindness. So anyway,
also
no.
Coca-Cola zero, Coca-Cola. If you go to another country, don't drink it. Over here in America, they have a rule and they don't use it, but all over the world, it's very dangerous.
Yeah, it's banned from most of the world, as are genetically modified foods and other things. Best sweetener out there, if you want a zero-calorie sweetener, grow yourself some stevia. And stevia has just been approved. You're going to see it. As a matter of fact, the Coca-Cola people are going to start using this, I understand, as the sweetener of choice. But stevia is a pretty little herb and really easy to grow, and an excellent sweetener. You don't necessarily want to cook with it. It can get a little bit bitter if you get it too hot. But golly, it's a good sweetener, and I know of absolutely no problem with stevia. That is most of the problem areas that I wanted to talk about, but I'm sure you all may have challenges in your own yard. Yes, sir?
We have a porch, and the side of it has it's probably 4 or 5 feet off the ground, and it's in a shaded area under a canopy of I guess a ligustrum, I guess.
Okay.
What kind of hedge do you put in there? Boxwood?
Boxwood won't grow in the shade. Green pittosporum would be one of your best things that you could plant there. Green pittosporum will thrive in the shade. You can trim it and keep it to 5 feet. The one outside my back door is probably about 10 feet tall now.
And you can do various heights, and it's on the slope also.
Oh yeah.
Lots on the slope.
Yeah. No, green pits would be a great thing to hide 5 feet of foundation. If it's an area that you can't put a bigger shrub in, fig ivy. Fig ivy is what we have. If you go out the nursery, that concrete wall that's along the street out there, that's fig ivy that's planted along there. You will notice if you walk up in this part of the nursery, there's fig ivy on our fence probably 100 feet back into the nursery. Nothing's planted back here. That's all planted out by the street, and that's how far it's grown down the fence. It will cling to concrete, it will cling to wood, and if you don't have room to plant a shrub, just plant your fig ivy there. It'll grow up and totally hide the concrete or whatever building
Did
material.
you put a dwarf pittsform?
No, I don't think that'd be big enough. I put the standard green
Just trim it up, keep it trim?
and just trim it as you need
It
to.
only has about 2 feet of,
Yeah, you could put compact Nandina, would grow in the shade and would grow to that size. Dwarf Burford's doesn't like our soil as well, but that's another possibility. But probably my two top choices for some sun, some shade would be, well, green pittosporum would probably be my first choice. If it's always shady, you can use Gold Dust Akuba. It'll grow in total shade. It'll get about 5 feet tall. Be beautiful all the time.
Where's the best place in town to get compost to put on your yard and landscape mix when you're trying to plant grass?
Okay.
Best, all that.
My opinion, the best compost out there is from New Earth, Soils and Compost. I wish you'd asked me last week because I broadcast out there Sunday and they sold everything they had 25% off. Clayton's talking about doing it again. But I think it's the best compost on the market. Second best would be Fertile Garden Supply. They make a good compost, and I'm not supposed to say it, but they also buy compost from New Earth and blend into their compost. I don't know why they get really upset if I say that they use some New Earth's compost. I want everybody to think they make all their own. They don't. They're using some of New Earth's product as well. The Ladybug product that we like so much, that is the bagged compost, a portion of their compost they actually buy from New Earth. And it's one of the several things that goes into their compost. I'm sorry, but since Malcolm Bennett doesn't run Gardenville anymore, their compost is not nearly as good as what it once was. I mean, there's no such thing as bad compost, but if you want the best compost going, I'm going to tell you it's New Earth. Same thing for soil mixes.
Where is that located?
Well, they're out on I-10 East, about halfway between 410 and 1604. Are you guys still in Marymount?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably as close as you can do. If you're northwest, I buy it from Stone and Soil Depot. New Earth has many distributors. If you're in Pleasanton, you get it at Virginia Twins. If you're in the Valley, you get it at Donna at the Dirt Depot. If you're in Victoria, you get it at Earthworks. It's all New Earth compost. They have 100 acres in compost production out there. So they are one of the big players in the business, but they still make some of the very best compost around.
New Braunfels is the same.
New Braunfels, I'm not sure who, but somebody up there I know sells New Earth.
What, is that what you would put under if you're going to put in sod? Would you put that under sod?
No,
What
no.
would you put under sod?
You can use their weed-free soil mixes like garden soil.
Yeah.
In fact, we used several different soils out here when we built the parking lot over here, and New Earth was by far the best soil of the different places that we used. But never ever put compost in the bottom of a hole, never put compost underneath grass when you're planting it, because a plant's roots have to have oxygen. Compost produces a lot of carbon dioxide. So you want to plant your grass and then put the compost on top of it. Never dig a hole, put a bunch of compost in the bottom and plant a plant on top of it. That plant has to have oxygen for its roots, not carbon dioxide. So the compost goes on top.
What about mixing it into soil that you're gonna put it in?
You're not creating enough of a problem there to make any difference. I don't like to mix a lot of compost in the soil, because if you dig a hole, mix a bunch of compost in with it, the plant roots never want to go outside the hole. They've got too good a deal. It's like a big pot they're growing in. So I would never mix more than about 20 or 30% compost with the native soil you've taken out of the hole. That doesn't seem to be enough to be any problem. But I've had people that want to dig a hole, pour a bunch of compost in and plant the plant on top of it, and that's a very bad idea.
What about rose soil? What is that?
Rose soil is fine. Rose soil, they put maybe a little bit of extra Poteet red sand or something in it, but I basically just go with their garden soil and use it for just about everything.
What
Yes.
is a good either large bush or small tree that could be planted in a real sandy soil that would attract birds?
Okay, and how big do you want it to be?
Oh, maybe 4 feet.
Well, that's not a tree, that's a big
Well,
bush.
Well, or as far as a tree, just a short tree,
Okay.
a small tree, decorative tree maybe, or
Things
that would
that,
attract birds though.
well, this weeping yopon holly is a beautiful thing. And it's pretty all the time. The birds like it because it's fairly dense foliage. And when the birds aren't dumb, when the berries start to ferment, they will come. You never seem to get them early in the season, but this time of year when the berries have started the sugar in the berries has started fermenting a bit. Boy, the mockingbirds just get out